Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today, I want to take a little bit of a step away from the Overwatch League itself to talk a bit more about Overwatch as a game and talk about the news that we got a little over a week ago now, almost 2 weeks ago now, I guess. The announcement that crossplay is coming to Overwatch. This is a huge deal for Overwatch and even the Overwatch League in a sense that I will talk about because I do think it is important and I want to make reference to why it is important, even if it's not necessarily to the Overwatch League itself, like the games that we see and the players that we see. There is an aspect to it that is very important that I want to kind of talk about. So I just want to share my thoughts on crossplay, their execution of it, what it means for the future of the game, all that kind of stuff. So if you did not see the video, the dev update that Aaron Keller did, or the announcement that they put on the Overwatch website, I will link to both of those in the descriptions. You can check those out just to make sure that you know what it is that I'm talking about here. But the general rule of it is, of course, that crossplay is coming to Overwatch, and that means that people who play on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch will be able to play with each other regardless of platform. This is part of a larger kind of global BattleNet update they did, which means that your friends list is not limited to region now. It is just like your friends list. So if you have friends in Europe and friends in North America and friends in Asia and you've played on the different servers, it doesn't matter anymore. You can all play together now. You don't have to be on BattleNet in different regions as you would have had to before. I think there's still servers that are specific, but your friends list is not region specific anymore. And with that, they talked about BattleNet. Now, the website, the majority of the stuff they have on this website is just kind of talking about how to get it set up and all that kind of stuff. But there's a little blurb here I want to read, and then I'll go into some of the kind of FAQ things they talked about that are important. I'm not going to talk about the account linking part of it because I don't really care that much about that. It's not that important. The general rule is just that you just have to connect your console account to a BattleNet account going forward, and then you can play crossplay with people. That's as simple as it is there. But as I say here, crossplay is coming to Overwatch soon, allowing players to group up and play together. Powered by the latest global Battle.net update, players from around the world can team up regardless of their preferred platform. With the release of crossplay, all players will need to make a Battle.net account and link their appropriate console accounts. With the launch of crossplay, everyone who logs into Overwatch by the end of 2021 will receive a golden loot box to celebrate. And then they have the developer update here. So I'm actually just going to link the article in the video, and you can watch the dev update there. Just everything's there. Like I said, they talk about preparing your account, how to create a Battle.net account, how to link your console, and all that stuff. The main things to just kind of understand, there are a couple things I want to talk about from the account linking just to make sure people know on them or know about it. If you play on PC, you don't have to do anything. You're good. It's going to happen anyway. The systems that are supported are all of them. So PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch. And then the golden loot box will come to any system that you have the game. But here are the things that are kind of relevant to the competitive side of the game and things that I think more people will care about. So one of the things is like progression and leaderboards. So will your progression carry over? The answer is no. I think they want to try to make it so that cross progression is a thing, but right now it is not. Will stats be reset when crossplay launches? No. Will ranks be reset? No. Will top 500 leaderboards include players from other systems? They're going to be separate, so there will be one for PC players, one for crossplay enabled console players, one for crossplay disabled console players. Then there's all the social feature stuff, so will you use the console handle or BattleNet tag or battle tag? It'll be your battle tag during matches. Stuff about like real ID. That's all the stuff that's not really as important, but if it's something you care about, you can look. Matchmaking is the thing where stuff gets really interesting, where people kind of care about it. So, will crossplay be enabled for all game modes? It is enabled for all game modes with an exception for competitive games. Competitive games will be split into two pools depending on the system that they are playing on. And so you'll have the console pool and you'll have the PC pool, and they will not be mixed into the same pool. Now, what this does mean, which I think is different from the way it was in the past. In the past, if you played on PS4, you could only play with people on PS4 and maybe on PS5, I guess, because it was through like PlayStation Network. And if you played on Xbox, it was the Xbox pool. If you played on Switch, it's a Switch pool. This looks like now Switch players, Xbox players, PlayStation players can play together in competitive mode, but just not with PC players. So that's the difference there, right? But that is still a pretty big thing. Like, crossplay doesn't necessarily just mean PC with console. It also means console to console, different types of consoles. So that's a big deal as well. So that's a huge change. Competitive matches, not having PC players if you're playing on console, I think is a good thing. I think that's the best way to do it. There are good things like, can a console player and a PC player play together? Yes, just not in competitive, which is to be expected. I think that they said that it will launch when there's some time left in Season 28. So there won't be crossplay for competitive until Season 29. And then I think when you get into competitive in Season 29, you'll be able to play, but it's not necessarily guaranteed. So you can play just PC or just console, or you can do both. I'm not 100% positive with the way it's working. I feel like some of the stuff I'm saying doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. If you're a PC player using controller, you're still going to be grouped up with PC players. Console aim assist will be turned off if you're playing with a PC player. And it's only on for consoles. Only want to match against players in the same console. So if you turn that off, you'd only play with people on your console. You can disable crossplay on anything but PC. PC players can't opt out of it. Disabling it increases queue times. Crossplay will be available for custom games. And it is in the beta phase, so it'll be coming sooner. I don't know exactly when it comes out. And then there was a question about the Overwatch leak, where the tokens delivered, and they're just delivered to both, if you have them linked. So I'm not going over in depth kind of like what crossplay is. I definitely recommend, the best thing for you to do if you want to learn more about crossplay is to go to the link in the description. That is the main thing that I will recommend doing. I wanted to share just my kind of general thoughts on crossplay and my thoughts on whether or not it's positive or negative, and also what impacts it may have on the Overwatch League. So my overall resounding opinion is that crossplay is the best thing for the game. And the question obviously that people are going to have is, well, why? Why is it good for the game? One of the reasons why games like Fortnite and Apex Legends got as big as they did was because it didn't matter what system you were playing on, you could play with your friends. Because crossplay is huge in multiplayer games. Now, Overwatch is not on mobile like Fortnite is, but even still, if I were a PC player and I had a friend who played Xbox and a friend who played PlayStation, and we all wanted to play Fortnite together, or Apex together, for example, I don't play either of those games, but just as an example, we could just get on and play. It didn't matter because everything was done through their servers. Overwatch, that's not a thing. I have a friend, my roommate actually, who plays Overwatch on the PlayStation. Does not play Overwatch much on the PC. Has it on PC, doesn't play it as much because their PC isn't very good. So we have played before, but they weren't playing in their most comfortable way. Their PC's not very good, so it wasn't the best experience for them. Now, we can play together, and it's not that big of a deal. They can play the way they want to play. Yeah, their aim assist isn't going to be on, but, they'll still be able to play the way that's most comfortable for them. And that's for the best. And the fact that it's disabled for competitive is also, perfect. If I'm a competitive player on PC, I don't really want console players in my competitive games because at the end of the day, aiming on the console and aiming on the PC are very different, and the way you play is very different. And they might be a really good console player, and they might just get completely outclassed by PC aimers. It's just the way things happen. It's just the nature of the game. You don't have the aim assist, so it's a little bit harder. So yeah, I think it is for the best if competitive is separate. But arcade modes, quick play, love it. This is really big also going into Overwatch 2 as we get into the story content for Overwatch 2, and you have the PvE missions and all the hero missions, the story missions, that's really big. that now the co-op story mode, crossplay. And it'll be there. We know it'll be there when Overwatch 2 drops. For the longevity of Overwatch as a game, crossplay is huge because now people who have different consoles and different systems can play, right? And people can jump back into it now. Like, I would not be surprised if there's a bit of a resurgence now of people who, like, they stopped playing because they don't have a PC, and a bunch of their friends started playing PC, right? They got PCs instead of playing games on PC, so now they don't really have a PC to play games with their friends with or whatever. But now you can. You can play Overwatch with your friends if they have it only on the Switch or the PlayStation, you have it on PC. So for the longevity of the game, for the health of the game, crossplay is massive. The game will thrive way more with crossplay as a thing than any other time in Overwatch's history. And when you're getting up to Overwatch 2 and you're ramping up for the release of your next big project, you need to have Overwatch be as popular as possible, and you need to provide as many opportunities for people to play the way that they want as possible. The other big thing that everyone always talks about when you talk about like competitive games and multiplayer shooters type of games is you need to be free to play, you need to have crossplay. They have crossplay. We'll see if they go free to play. I wouldn't be surprised if the multiplayer for Overwatch does go free to play at some point. Even possibly before the launch of Overwatch 2. I think it is a big thing because getting people to play the game is enough of a way to get people to buy things in the game. It's the way that Fortnite monetizes, it's the way that Apex Legends monetizes, is people buy stuff in-game. So that's something that maybe Overwatch does. They go free to play for their multiplayer and paid for their story content. And so that's why they are putting so much time and effort and focus on the story content, because they know that they need to make people want to buy the story side of the game. So that's something that I look at and I say, yeah, that's a really big possibility. But free-to-play is a really good step that will probably happen down the road. For now, we know that we have crossplay, and we can look at crossplay as the best thing that they have done to kind of benefit the long-term success of Overwatch. So will this have an impact on the Overwatch League? Probably, but maybe not in the sense of console players now making the jump to the Overwatch League. That probably won't happen. The league will most likely continue being PC. I don't see a world in which they make the Overwatch League crossplay. But where it will benefit is that if more players are able to play the game now, that they can kind of play with their friends now that it's crossplay, what we might start seeing are more fans to the game. The game is going to get more popular. More people are going to want to keep playing the game, which means more eyes potentially on the esports side of the game. That is a big, big, big thing when you consider the life of Overwatch so far. Esports have kind of been secondary in a lot of the development for this game, but if there are people who are interested in the game and are now able to play the game with their friends in ways they couldn't before, that brings a lot more players into the game. That's a huge plus for the esports side of the game. So at the end of the day, there is no downside to crossplay. People who say that there is downside to crossplay either didn't really look too deeply into it and are under the impression that the way crossplay works means that it is active during competitive, or they are just genuinely not understanding of how games work these days and how important they are to have crossplay. So I think this is a huge addition to the game. I'm so happy they're doing it. It's been something that people have been pushing for years. It took them too long. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. This is a development that probably should have been around a while ago. But the fact that they're getting it out before Overwatch 2's release, I think, is notable and is something to take account of, because that is a huge part of what will make this game potentially have a successful future. And so I am very excited to see them finally adding crossplay to the game. But I would love to hear from you, your thoughts on it. Are you happy they're adding crossplay? Do you have an issue with them adding crossplay? Anything at all? I would love to hear from you. But that is all from me for today. If you enjoyed this video and want more like it in the future, consider liking and subscribing. But I am going to get out of here. I hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy. And until next time, bye-bye.